Okay, I'm going to show you how to draw a 1 or 2 point box. So we're going to use a Kleenex box, but you can use any kind of box that you have at home. And we're going to eventually be shading these drawings, but today we're just going to start with just getting this sketched out. So currently this box is sitting in front of me in 2-point perspective, and I know that because none of these planes of this box are parallel to the picture plane. The picture plane we can think of as being the glass on the camera, or the glass on your computer screen or your phone. So I'm videotaping this with my phone, so my phone is not parallel to any of those surfaces. Okay, so that's in 2-point perspective. If I turn this box and put it in 1-point perspective, I'll put it in 1-point perspective. Now it is parallel to the front plane of this screen. So even if I move it over here, no matter where I move it, right here, as long as that front plane of that box is parallel to this screen, then it is in 1-point perspective. So if I leave this right here, I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about starting to draw this. So the first thing that you're going to need is a really big piece of paper. So I'm at home and I don't have a really big piece of paper to use, so I took 4 pieces of computer paper and I just taped them all together. And you can do that. And then you're going to need 1 regular piece of computer paper that you will be doing your drawing on, like this. Now I've got to measure my eye level. So I'm going to take a yardstick or a ruler or something, and I'm going to measure where my eye level is. So my eye level is at about 17 inches, and that means that it is exactly where my eyes are in real life. So I'm actually measuring where my eyes are. So make sure that the 1 inch is down at the on the ground plane, and that you are looking straight at the yardstick in order to make sure that you're getting your measurement right. Okay, so if that represents my eye level, where my eyes are at from the ground plane. So my eye level is 17 inches. Now, I have to choose a scale for this to be. And I'm trying to fill this piece of paper up. So I'm going to choose, if I measure this, it is 5 inches. And I want to fill this piece of paper up, but I want to make sure that it's not, that I have enough room for everything on here. So if I started to draw this 5 inches and did it 1-to-1 scale, it would be really big. So I'm going to go just a little bit smaller than that, and I'm going to say that I want my scale on paper to be 0.75 inches. So that means that everything that I do with my drawing has to be multiplied by 0.75. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eye level, which was 17 inches, because we measured that. That was my actual eye level. 17 times 0.75, it equals 12.75. So 12.75 is the adjusted eye level. So how we measure that now, this is why we have the bigger piece of paper, so that I can come in and I can draw in my eye level. So if I start to measure up, here's 12 inches, so 0.75 is about right there. So now at that spot, I can draw my eye level. That is my horizon line. So I'm going to draw that in. There's my eye level. Now, the thing that we know about this is that this vanish. The eye level is drawn 12.75 inches from where you have the ground plane marked on the piece of paper, that is where you want to start your drawing. So from this point, from this ground line to this horizon line or eye level, it's 12.7. Okay, the next thing I need to do is measure the size of the box. And the box is about 5 inches. So I am doing this with a 0.5 scale on paper. So if my box is 5 inches, I multiply 5 times 0.75 and I get 3.75. 3.75 is my adjusted size of the box. So I'm going to be drawing this box on that piece of paper. And I have to decide where that's going to be. If I look at where my eye level is and where I am standing, this box is a little bit over to the right of where I am. So that means that on this piece of paper, it is going to have to be a little bit over to the right. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is using a sighting stick, which I'm going to have at a parallel angle to this screen to figure out exactly where that vanishing point falls on my eye level. And so it's pretty easy. I really only have to be accurate with one angle in order to find it. But the very first thing that I need to do is figure out where that box is going to be on this piece of paper. So I have to kind of choose where to start drawing it in relation to where I'm at. Okay, on my piece of paper, right in the center of this paper and right in front of me, right in the middle of where I am, I'm going to mark my vanishing point. This is for 1 point boxes on my horizon line. Now, if I am looking at this box, it is over to the right of where I'm at. And if I hold, taking one of the angles and look at that, kind of hold this here, then take that down to my piece of paper and line that up with this vanishing point, I can start to get where that needs to fall on my piece of paper. Okay, so I'm taking my sighting stick and I'm looking at this angle by keeping it flat. And if I kind of line that up with that angle, this is going to be kind of, I'm looking at this angle, it's going to be kind of like that. So if on this piece of paper, I'm starting to draw my box from this point, which is my ground line, I'm going to lay that down here. I know that that edge has to be going up like this to that central vanishing point. So I'm going to be drawing my box, which is 3.75 inches, right here on this piece of paper. If something isn't straight, you can just straighten it out. Okay, now everything, all the sides of this box are going to vanish to this central vanishing point. So how that is going to look is that's connecting up to that central vanishing point, which is on the eye level that I drew. So you can see that. So if I move this over, you can see that point that I drew that up to. So I'm going to connect all of these to there. Okay, so just connecting them. Okay, now this box is a rectangle, so I'm going to have to guesstimate where the back edge and the top are. So if I'm looking at this, I can decide where to put in the back edges. If this line, and this line are all gonna be parallel. This line, and this line are all gonna be parallel. So I'm looking at my box and I'm deciding where I see quite a bit of the top of this box. I'm going to draw this about right here, and then I'm going to finish this right here. Okay, so now that box part is done. Now, something that I have to consider is that all of the flowers and all of the other things drawn on this box are also going into 1-point perspective. So if I want to find the center, for example, of the top of this box, I can use the Xing method to find the exact center. And this can be useful for trying to get this center part going right through the middle. I can also understand that anything that I draw on here has to be going to this vanishing point, and it's going to be slightly distorted. So if I'm trying to draw what is this kind of like ovalish shape, I'm going to draw almost like a little grid to get that in. So once I have that in here, I know that this has to start here, and it kind of almost looks like it's, if I tip this up just to look at that, you can see that it's kind of like an oval back there too. So I kind of have this almost flattish oval shape that I know that this is the center of this. So it's got to touch here, it's got to touch here, it's got to touch here and here. I can make adjustments by coming in like that. All right, now everything else is just going to be drawn just normal. I would come in and finish drawing the piece of Kleenex and so forth. Now I also need to understand that even these flowers need to kind of be gridded going back. They're going to be a little bit smaller as I get further away, and especially here on the side, that's going to be really distorted. So in order to kind of grid in where they need to go, I can make myself almost like a grid that goes straight back. I need to straighten this side out just a little. It looks like I want to make sure that that's perfectly parallel. So this side, I only see a tiny little bit of it, and those flowers on that side are going to be very distorted. Remember to draw them how you see them, and they will be distorted. On the front of this box, I am going to be drawing everything just as it's seen. And up here, everything will be going to this vanishing point. So make sure that you draw that in accurately. Now, as far as the shading on this box, we are going to look at the lighting source, which looks to be coming, because I'm kind of sitting by a window, but because I'm indoors, there's lights coming from different directions. So I'm going to kind of choose my light source as being from the window, which is coming from here, and I'm going to look at it as being like this. If I draw a triangle, if I take and I draw a triangle, that same exact triangle, onto each one of these edges of this box, if I connect that, this is going to be where this part would be what would be shaded for that. I wouldn't see the triangle here, because there actually would be one here, there would be one here. But you wouldn't see them because they would be covered by the box. But that's where the shading would go. Now I'm going to show you how to draw a 2-point box. So I have my piece of paper taped down. I had already figured out that my eye level was at 12.75. But just to go back over that, I'm measuring my eye level at 17 inches. Okay, my eye level was 17 inches and I multiplied it by 0.75. So I got the adjusted eye level of 12.75. So I have, like, this is my ground line and this is 12.75 inches above my ground line. So that is representing my eye level, okay? And for this 2-point box, I'm going to want to extend this eye level like all the way across this page. Now, once in a while, you might even have to add a little bit more paper onto here to have enough space to be doing this. Now, I have to remember that this marking like the center where I am at of my piece of paper. That is like right in front of me. And if I am looking at where I am in relationship to this box, this corner of this box is going to be over here a little bit from that central point. So if I start to draw this line, I measured this box and it is about 5 inches. So 5 times 0.75 is 3.75. So I'm going to draw this over here at 3.75 inches. That's the corner of this box. Now, to figure out, so that's the corner. To figure out the angle, I'm going to line up this corner on this edge. I can use any one of these angles. Okay, any one of them. So if I use like that top edge, and then I come down to my piece of paper, and I line that up on my piece of paper, and I figure out where that line is going to cross this vanishing point, and kind of extend that up. I look at that, it's going to cross this horizon line right there. That's going to be my vanishing point. So I need to add a little bit of paper to that. So I'm going to do that right now. Extend this line a little bit. So I'm extending that line. And then I'm going to figure out this sighting stick. And if you don't have a sighting stick at home, you can use a pencil. It crosses right here. So this is where my vanishing point for this 2-point box is going to go. So now I can draw everything on this side of the box to that vanishing point. Okay, now I have to figure out the other side. So now I'm going to take my sighting stick and figure out one of these angles. Any one of these angles work. Start with like here. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to lay that down on here. And then I'm going to figure out where this connects to that vanishing point. And on this side, it actually still stayed on this piece of paper, actually right to the edge, which is pretty amazing. So now I'm going to draw in that vanishing point right there. Now I'm going to connect everything on this side to that vanishing point. Okay, so now I'm going to connect everything on this side of the box to that vanishing point. And the reason that these vanishing points are not on this page is because I'm trying to fill up the page. That box would have to stay really tiny, and it would look very distorted if my cone of vision was on this page. So when we draw things in real life where we're not making up the cone of vision because it's based on real life, we sometimes have to use like a larger piece of paper, a larger background to somehow kind of figure that out. In school, I usually use string and foam board to help find these vanishing points. Okay, so again, this box is a rectangle. It's not really a square. And if I look at this, I am closer to this vanishing point. So that means this side of the box is going to be, a little bit shorter. I'm going to see less of it. And I'm going to see a little bit more on this side of the box because of where it is in relationship to my vanishing points. So now I'm going to finish drawing that. So this line, and this line are all going to be parallel. That's really important that they are parallel to the sides of my piece of paper. And then I finish this box. Everything on this side of this box goes to this vanishing point. And everything on this side of this box goes to this vanishing point. Now, as for the hole on the side of this box, I can find the center of this box using the Xing method by making an X straight through this from point to point. And then I can make another line through the center there. And one coming from the center here. Okay, so I have, this gives me this center points here. So when I'm going to do this, I know that this has to touch here, 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 and here. So when I start to go to make, actually it's gonna be about here and here. I'm going to touch here, here, here. And I'm pushing really hard so that you can see it, but if I was drawing it in, I would try to keep it pretty light. I can make some subtle adjustments. I think this is a little bit flatter over here, so I'm going to flatten that a little bit to try to get that in and drawn right. To me it looks a little bit more ovaled out, so I'm going to bring that out a little bit. Okay, and to get that shape. And then this would be just drawn by eye. Now, I can do the same thing for the flowers on the box. I can give myself kind of a grid by using the Xing method to find the center and to find how these things need to vanish. So if I'm looking at how they get smaller as they get farther away, I can draw that in. I can make further X's through this. Okay, so if I'm looking at this and I know that this marked my very center, and I draw a line going through there, I can kind of like quarter it out so that I can figure out what needs to be in this quarter, what needs to be in this quarter, what needs to be here, here. I can do that further on down to get this drawing right. Now, if I'm looking at the shading on this, if I'm having my light source come directly from the side, I'm going to draw a box like this. But I choose to, I'm going to draw the same triangle. Through here. Again, it would be blocked right there, so now I just connect these, and this would be what is shaded. Okay, so I finished quartering out. I have, like, this is half and half, and then I made these at like the quarter marks just by doing the Xing method. And just to show you, I did the same thing. I drew it the same way on my box that I'm drawing. And I wanted to do that so that you could see how you have to make adjustments. So as it gets further away from me, it's getting smaller. This can help you when you're trying to line that up, and you know, if you are also drawing a Kleenex box at home, and it's something that you can draw on with a Sharpie or even like a dark pencil, you could go and you could do that to help you figure out how to adjust the flowers. So now I'm going to start to come in and I'm going to look at what I see in each one of these quartered out areas. And so where it touches, for instance, you know, if it's actually touching like over here, what does that look like? And draw that and try to fit that into these spaces. And so by doing that, it will help me to see how it needs to get adjusted as I'm moving forward. So that is something that you can do at home as well, because your next step is going to be to draw in everything exactly how you see it on this, from this box onto here, with using correct 2-point perspective. Okay, so you can see I'm starting to sketch this, what I'm seeing in that first block down on here, and it would just kind of continue going through there. If it helps, you can make even more X's so that you can see like through the center here. I could have another, you know, division here. You just need to make sure that you actually are measuring. Like I actually measured when I did go in and I drew this. I measured and make sure that this line was halfway. I measured and made sure that each of these were the exact same increments. So it corresponded to what I'm drawing on my piece of paper. So that when I am at this angle, it's at the same exact angle that I have here. So just remember that as you go in and you finish your drawing and get everything sketched in, whether you are drawing the 1-point box or the 2-point box. And everybody's boxes are going to look different, and they're going to have different things on them. So depending on what needs to be drawn in perspective on your box, is going to look different. I want to see from everybody. I want to see the small paper attached to the big paper. I want to see a final picture of everything all together so that I can check it. So the final picture should look like this from the top to show me that it is actually drawn accurate when it's all finished, with just the outlines to check it.